Yesterday, Iran released a document. Not a document targeting military installations, not radar arrays, not petroleum terminals, warships, or anti-missile batteries. Those have been in the crosshairs since the opening hours. Everyone anticipated those. Yesterday's document was something else entirely. Yesterday's document carried 6 names that have never appeared on any military targeting document in the entire archive of modern conflict. 6 names that collectively represent more financial weight than the gross domestic product of most nations on the planet. 6 names that every single person watching this right now has interacted with today. Almost certainly before their morning coffee. Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, IBM, Oracle, Palantir. The IRGC, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the most formidable armed organization operating across the Middle East outside American forces, published through its official Tasnim news channel a formal declaration that every office building, every data center campus, every cloud computing node that these corporations operate across Israel and the Gulf is now, in their exact documented language, Iran's new targets. And then they did something that no military organization in modern recorded history has ever done before announcing a strike operation. They warned civilians to leave, not to evacuate a neighborhood adjacent to a missile launch facility, not to maintain distance from a military airfield or naval installation. They instructed the civilian residents of the Gulf, the men and women who live and work in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Manama, and Tel Aviv, to maintain at least 1 kilometer of distance from any U.S. or Israeli-affiliated bank. 1 kilometer from a bank, because the bank might be struck by a missile. That warning was issued yesterday, March 11th, 2026, day 12 of a war that was marketed as a brief, contained operation. Today is day 13, and the question that every government official, every financial investor, every technology executive, and every ordinary individual maintaining a bank account anywhere in the Gulf is asking this morning is identical. Is this credible? Here's how you evaluate that question. You examine what Iran has already done, not what it threatened, not what it announced, not what an IRGC spokesperson articulated in a prepared statement, what it physically carried out. Because the threat published yesterday is not the opening chapter of this story, it is chapter 2. And chapter 1 already concluded 11 days ago on the very first morning of this war. On March 1st, 2026, while the global news cycle was still absorbing the reality that Khamenei was dead and the entire Middle East had ignited, Iran launched drone strikes against a data center, not a military compound. A data center. 3 Amazon Web Services facilities located inside the UAE and Bahrain. The cloud computing foundation supporting banking operations, payment processing, delivery platforms, and enterprise software serving the entire Gulf region. 2 of the UAE installations were struck directly. 1 in Bahrain sustained damage from a proximate explosion. AWS confirmed structural compromise, interrupted power delivery, and fire suppression systems engaging inside server halls, flooding equipment with water to contain the blaze. Amazon communicated to its customer base that restoration would be extended given the severity of the physical destruction involved. Within hours, Careem, the Gulf's dominant ride-sharing and delivery platform, relied upon by tens of millions of users daily, went dark. Payment processors HubPay and Al Ain reported system failures. Emirates, NBD, First Abu Dhabi Bank, and Abu Dhabi Commercial Bank all announced service interruptions. Enterprise software networks across the region lost connectivity. Investment applications, delivery tracking systems, digital payment wallets, all of it suddenly offline because a drone had ignited the structure housing the servers. The Uptime Institute, the recognized global authority on data center resilience and infrastructure protection, confirmed the event in a single sentence that no one in Silicon Valley, no one inside the Pentagon, and no one across the Gulf's trillion-dollar investment community wanted to see published. This was the first verified military attack against a hyperscale cloud provider in the history of armed conflict. Nothing comparable had ever occurred before. Iran executed it on day 1, before the debris had settled over Tehran, before initial casualty numbers were released, before crude oil breached $100 per barrel, before the Strait of Hormuz shut down. Iran examined the American economic system, identified its most contemporary, most operationally essential, most globally integrated infrastructure, and struck it on the opening morning of the war. That was the proof of concept. Yesterday's document, Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, IBM, Oracle, Palantir, is the extension of what was demonstrated as achievable on day 1. And to comprehend why what follows is not merely a military narrative or a technology narrative, but potentially the single most consequential economic rupture of this entire decade, you need to grasp one reality that the architects of this war never modeled, never calculated, and apparently never thought to ask. What do these 6 corporations actually represent to the United States military? Because the answer bears no resemblance to what most people assume. and Iran understood the answer before Washington authorized the first airstrike. Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, IBM, Oracle, and Palantir are not simply technology firms. They are not merely consumer brands, market darlings, or the companies whose applications dominate your phone screen. In 2026, they constitute the operational foundation of American military capacity, and that is precisely why Iran selected them. Microsoft Azure holds the Pentagon's classified cloud computing agreements, multi-billion-dollar contracts that position Microsoft's server infrastructure as the digital nervous system of U.S. military communications, logistics management, and intelligence analysis. When an American general requires simultaneous coordination of air campaign operations spanning 6 sovereign nations, the computational architecture executing beneath that coordination is, in substantial measure, Microsoft's. Google Cloud carries active defense contracts that its own engineering workforce spent years protesting, agreements providing artificial intelligence capabilities to military intelligence programs. Palantir did not reach a $60 billion market valuation by selling analytics software to healthcare providers. It engineered the data processing architecture that U.S. Special Operations units deploy for targeting operations, the system that ingests raw intelligence from orbital satellites, electronic intercepts, and ground-level reports, and transforms it into precise strike coordinates. NVIDIA's semiconductors do not merely power gaming hardware and consumer AI assistants. They drive the artificial intelligence platforms processing satellite imagery in real time above Iranian airspace at this very moment, identifying mobile missile systems, tracking vehicle convoys, and producing the targeting packages that American and Israeli pilots are using to select their next strike mission. IBM provides enterprise computing infrastructure to U.S. intelligence agencies, stretching back before the modern cloud era, operating some of the most classified government processing systems in existence. Oracle hosts protected U.S. government data, under contracts positioning it as one of the most strategically embedded commercial entities within the American national security apparatus. Iran's argument, published explicitly through Tasnim, is that these are not neutral civilian enterprises sheltering behind commercial designation. They are the corporations whose technology is directly enabling the airstrikes that have killed more than 300 Iranian civilians, struck 10 medical facilities, leveled a girls' school in Manab, killing over 150 children, and reduced entire residential districts of Tehran to rubble. Iran is asserting, and international legal scholars will be examining this argument for years, that corporations whose products directly power military targeting operations have surrendered their protected status as civilian actors. Now examine where these companies have established their Middle Eastern footprint, because geography communicates everything about the magnitude of what is at risk. Google's Middle East headquarters occupies Dubai. Not a modest liaison office, but a substantial regional operation embedded inside one of the most prominent commercial districts on Earth. Microsoft maintains its largest regional presence in Abu Dhabi, where it committed $3 billion in data center construction investment in 2023 and 2024 alone. Oracle has been aggressively developing Gulf infrastructure as the region positions itself as the emerging world's artificial intelligence capital. NVIDIA holds deep strategic partnerships with UAE sovereign wealth funds and government AI development programs. IBM operates throughout the Gulf, delivering enterprise technology services to governments and financial institutions. All of it. Every server rack, every corporate office, every fiber optic connection, constructed on a single foundational premise that was codified into formal American policy just 6 weeks before this war commenced. In January 2026, the United States unveiled the Pax Silica Initiative, an official partnership framework with the UAE and Qatar engineered to anchor American AI semiconductors and cloud infrastructure inside the Gulf, specifically to prevent that technology from migrating toward China. The security architecture assembled around that initiative was sophisticated and expensive. It encompassed export control mechanisms, semiconductor tracking protocols, political alignment commitments, and technology transfer restrictions. It was engineered to keep advanced American chips out of Chinese possession. Not one sentence of the Pax Silica security framework contemplated Iranian drones. Not one contingency scenario addressed what happens when the physical buildings themselves become military objectives. 11 days ago, Iranian drones set an Amazon server facility ablaze inside the UAE. Yesterday, the IRGC published a formal document naming 5 additional American technology giants as subsequent targets. The entire Pax Silica premise, the trillion-dollar strategic cornerstone of American technology dominance across the world's most vital energy geography, is now being evaluated against the reality that a nation America is actively bombing has elected to strike back at the buildings where the future of American artificial intelligence physically resides. The financial consequences are already cascading in ways that markets have not fully incorporated. Goldman Sachs analysts communicated to Bloomberg this week that investor frameworks have treated the AWS strikes as a contained, isolated episode. One data center, temporary service disruption, workloads rerouted to alternative regions, services restored within days. That containment premise rests on exactly one condition, that the attacks remain isolated incidents. The IRGC's published document from yesterday is a formal declaration that the premise is incorrect. This is not isolated. This is a coordinated campaign, and a campaign directed at Google's Dubai headquarters, Microsoft's Abu Dhabi campus, and Oracle's Gulf operations, executed with the identical drone precision that neutralized Kareem and 3 UAE banking applications on the first day of the war, will not be resolved by rerouting data traffic to servers in Frankfurt. It will be absorbed by equity markets, by pension portfolios, by every technology investor on Earth who awakens tomorrow and recognizes that the data center holding their capital just appeared on an Iranian military target document and the U.S. Navy possesses no capacity to shield it. Here is the question that nobody in Washington is addressing publicly, but that every chief executive appearing on that IRGC document posed to their security leadership yesterday morning. Can the United States military actually protect a Google office building in Dubai? Not as a theoretical proposition, specifically, practically. Right now, on day 13 of a war where American interceptor stockpiles are being replenished from South Korean reserve storage, where the U.S. Navy has acknowledged it cannot guarantee safe navigation through the Strait of Hormuz, where 3 Amazon data centers remain in active recovery from drone damage sustained 11 days ago. Can America defend a commercial technology building in the UAE against the identical drone systems that already demonstrated their capacity to locate and destroy civilian infrastructure on the opening morning of this conflict? The candid answer is not reliably, not without prohibitive cost, and not indefinitely. The asymmetry is unforgiving. As one infrastructure security analyst told Rest of World this week, it costs less to attack than to defend. Protecting a data center campus against a sustained Iranian drone offensive demands layered air defense architecture, Patriot batteries, radar systems, interceptor missiles, the identical systems currently depleted across the entire Middle Eastern theater from 13 consecutive days of combat operations. The expenditure required to defend a single data center campus approaches the capital required to construct a new one, and Iran can dispatch another drone for roughly the price of a second-hand vehicle. This is the economic warfare logic that the architects of Operation Epic Fury never incorporated into their planning. Trump's team designed a military operation, degrade Iranian missile infrastructure, eliminate nuclear development capacity, project overwhelming American superiority. They anticipated Iran would respond militarily, absorb casualties until the accumulating losses became strategically unsustainable. What they failed to anticipate was that Iran would simultaneously open a separate front against the commercial and technological foundation of the American economy itself. A front where every defensive action costs more than the corresponding offensive one, and where the attacking party does not require target destruction to achieve its objective. It only needs to make the target too dangerous to remain near. The $6 trillion in global equity market value erased since February 28th reflects crude oil pricing, energy supply disruption, and broad war risk premium. It does not yet incorporate the specific scenario the IRGC documented yesterday. If Iran follows through, if Google's Dubai headquarters or Microsoft's Abu Dhabi campus sustains the same drone strike that destroyed Amazon's UAE availability zones, the market reaction will not be a measured, gradual repricing. It will be an instantaneous, violent reassessment of every technology company's Gulf exposure, every Gulf state's investment viability, and every assumption embedded in the Pax Silica architecture that American and Gulf leadership invested years constructing. Microsoft's share price does not require a direct missile impact to decline. It requires its institutional investors to unlock their phones, read that its Abu Dhabi data center campus appears on an active Iranian military target document, and determine that the risk-adjusted return profile on Gulf exposure no longer justifies the position. That repricing executes in milliseconds across algorithmic trading infrastructure. The financial damage lands before the drone does. And threading beneath all of this is a geopolitical communication that Iran is broadcasting simultaneously to every government observing this conflict from outside the combat zone. The Strait of Hormuz is closed to all parties except Chinese-flagged vessels and Muslim-operated shipping. The IRGC technology target document names American corporations. Chinese companies, Huawei, Alibaba Cloud, ByteDance, all of which maintain substantial Gulf presence, appear nowhere on it. Iran is communicating to every government, every sovereign wealth fund, every technology executive evaluating their next infrastructure investment. American assets in this region constitute military targets. Chinese assets do not. Choose your positioning accordingly. That message is registering. Gulf governments that spent the preceding decade carefully threading the needle between Washington and Beijing, attracting both American AI investment and Chinese technology infrastructure simultaneously, are now observing the American half of that equation burning in real time while the Chinese half transits the Strait of Hormuz without obstruction. No formal declaration is required. The geometry of the situation communicates everything. Trump characterized this campaign as a brief contained military operation. Israeli officials suggested regime transition could require a year. The U.S. military requested 4 to 6 weeks to accomplish objectives that carry no definable military endpoint. Iran's underground command network, 31 hardened installations buried beyond the penetration threshold of conventional munitions, remains fully operational after 13 days of the most intensive American bombing campaign since 2003. Iran's manufacturing facilities are running extended shifts, producing replacement weapons at rates exceeding the destruction capacity of ongoing airstrikes. And now, on day 13, the war has extended its reach into the server infrastructure of the corporations that operate the American economy and posted their physical addresses on a published target document. The Amazon fire suppression systems activated 11 days ago to prevent server destruction from Iranian drone damage. The fires were extinguished. Recovery consumed days. Yesterday, the IRGC named Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA, IBM, Oracle, and Palantir. Today is day 13. And somewhere in Dubai right now, inside a tower that requires no special intelligence to locate on any mapping application, Google's Middle East regional headquarters is conducting normal business operations, with its street address appearing on a document published yesterday by the organization that already demonstrated, 11 days prior, that they possess both the navigational capability to find a specific building and the operational capacity to strike it. The question is no longer whether they can execute it. They already answered that. The only remaining question is when.